Every year, 5,000 children come through Tulsa's justice system. This is the facility where they have the best opportunity to turn their lives around. It's 8:30 a.m., the beginning of another hectic day at the Tulsa County Juvenile Center.
The lobby is full. 4 courts are going with 30 to 40 cases in the morning. People wait outside in the rain to come in. They'll wait outside in the snow to come in. Sometimes their machines work, sometimes it doesn't. We do not have an X-ray machine. So sometimes people will get agitated because instead of just X-raying their private belongings, people are going through their purses, asking them to empty out their pockets.
With over 9 years in the juvenile courts, District Judge Doris Francine has seen it all.
They come in here and they are scared and they are stressed and they are angry. And we don't need to add to their confusion. We don't need to crowd them into a small room like sardines in a can. We don't need to have them stand before the court with other people on top of them and crawling over desks to get out the door. They just deserve so much better.
This is also the case for staff, many of whom have been forced to use closets and hallways for offices.
The environment that the employees have to work out there under is far from what it should be, not to mention their clients that have to come to that facility.
Every conceivable space that can be used is being used. Every nook, every cranny, every broom closet, some of which have been converted actually to places in which hearings are held. Not only do you robe up in the broom closet, but you're required to hold court there as well.
It's outgrown its usefulness. The parking is limited. The staff is stacked on top of each other. Inmates and victims meet each other in the hallways.
The cramped building offers its visitors very little privacy. There are no separate rooms to discuss confidential matters. Regardless of whether the issue is an arrest, probation, loss of parental rights, or finalizing an adoption, clients are forced to meet with their lawyers out in the crowded public waiting area. For years, County Court Clerk Sally Howe-Smith has struggled with increased staff and workload with no increase in space.
It is very, very tight. We deal with numerous pieces of paper, so the desks are stacked up. It alters our ability to function with our respective duties as well as we could.
This old double-wide trailer is an example of how we've outgrown the present facility. We can't expand vertically, we can't expand horizontally, so we're really in a tough situation. And as a result of that, we've got people working in, very inadequate conditions. 8 people work out of this double-wide trailer, and here we've got thousands of files on the many, many cases that are worked on through the year. And these people work under tough conditions to really do the very best job they can in the Juvenile Justice Center to do right by the taxpayers.
Because this facility that we're in is so small, we have had to take our whole probation department and a couple of our other specialized programs and place them in another building. We recently even had to add another courtroom in our satellite office because we ran out of space here. So just for the community, it's sometimes confusing in terms of which building are we supposed to go to.
Located on Gilcrease Museum Road, the facility sits in the 100-year floodplain. Here are some cell phone shots of what a heavy rain did in September 2009. There's also the issue of its flat roof design and frequent leaks.
Well, sometimes because we have inadequate storage space in the building, it's necessary for us to store files in boxes, and we don't have enough tabletops, so they have to be stored on the floor. And if we're not thinking quick enough to get them up off the floor, well, we have had files get wet.
The facility that we're currently in was originally designed and built in the mid-60s and then added on to in the mid-90s. So that maintenance cost actually becomes fairly expensive.
In addition to wasting money on upkeep, the facility's inconvenient location also diverts valuable law enforcement resources.
What happens now is the jail is at 300 North Denver. The Juvenile Bureau is out on Charles Page Boulevard. The courthouse is at 6th and Denver. So you have a movement of personnel. So you're constantly having these transportation issues, moving from court to court, but more importantly, it slows the process down.
If the juvenile court is not successful, many youth will end up in the much more costly adult system.
In the last 10 years, we spent roughly over $100 million for a new jail, not to mention the $25 or $30 million a year that it costs to operate that jail. So if we would just take part of that money and move it to the juvenile arena, then we could have a much greater impact.
The programs and staff of the Juvenile Bureau have already turned around the lives of thousands of Tulsa youth, but future progress is limited by the current facility. In the words of Tulsa World editorial writer Julie Delcourt, the building is an overstuffed, inadequate albatross and disgrace to the justice system, a poor environment in which to turn around the lives of kids who've run afoul of the law or those children who've been abandoned or abused by parents or caregivers.
You know, some families don't expect better. And then there are other families that are absolutely shocked. And they think, what can this staff do to help our families? Because people oftentimes judge those of us within an environment by our surrounding.
We're doing what we can, but it is not an ideal situation, and it's something that needs to be fixed sooner rather than later.
Juvenile crime is a county-wide issue. It's not really defined to any one geographic area. This is a community problem that's community-wide, and it's going to take community resources to solve it.
With guidance from county staff, Tulsa architectural firm Seltzer Schaefer is designing a state-of-the-art facility to be located in downtown Tulsa. They're consulting with experts at KMD of San Francisco, a nationally recognized leader in juvenile justice design.
There are studies over the last 30 years that show a direct correlation between the built environment and the wellness, concentration, attentiveness of people within the built environment. Those principles can be transferred into the justice community. They all would apply. And this is the use of natural light, availability of views to the outside, the use of color, the variety of space, the control of noise.
Those architectural issues can help support getting the best outcome that we can, which is most productive staff and most productive clients.
You have to look at each individual situation in its totality, and each one is going to be different, and each one is going to need a different set of resources. And if you've got space, you've got resources on site, you can have all that stuff done before the person ever leaves the facility.
Everyone has a stake in improving this facility. It should be the most important division in the courthouse. And it could be if we had better facilities.
I don't think what the community understands are the number of successes that actually come through this court, the number of actually good kids that have made mistakes but need some guidance.
One of the many programs that there will be space for in the new facility is Phoenix Rising, a day program designed to give youth on probation the individual attention and motivation they need to be successful in school.
The road that she was headed down, my being at work a lot of the times and not actually being able to be there for her, her father being incarcerated, I think she felt like she was lost with nobody to listen. Nobody was around. She didn't have a future. And now she actually sees ahead of that to where, okay, maybe I can be somebody. And if it hadn't been for her being here, I don't think that she would have come out of that.
Changing behavior of young people, I think, is the key, and giving them hope. If they feel when they're arrested that nobody cares for them, they're going to continue on their life of crime. If you show them some respect, and by that, the facility that you put them in has to be sufficient that they feel that they're not being thrown in a trash can. That's how you start to reach kids.